Welcome back to Almost Above Average. I'm Chris McIntyre, the host, and today we had a really cool treat. I had a 5-time Ironman champion, Juan Romero, on the podcast today, and we had a whole range of discussions. We did talk a lot about his fitness journey and how he got into doing triathlons, and it was quite the story. He started with running and then progressed into bike riding. Then all of a sudden he's doing triathlon. So it was a really exciting story. He had a lot of good insights on health and fitness. And there's a lot of good inspiration about him overcoming his struggles in his life. And he's got a real big heart. He cares about his community. He really cares about his family. And it was just a really enlightening conversation. I'm grateful that he was on the podcast. So let's go right now to Juan Romero. Hey.
Hey, what's up, Chris?
What's going on, buddy?
Not much, man. I'm sorry about the technical difficulties. I thought that I could just click on the link and
Yeah,
join.
no, man. It wouldn't be a podcast if I didn't have technical difficulties. So it's actually part of the process. I make sure all my guests have a problem. I don't tell them how to solve it beforehand, and I make sure we go through this every single time. So yeah.
All right. Well, my bad. I'm here.
No, you're good, bro. I'm really excited to have you. Thanks, Juan. How are you, man?
I'm doing well, man. Good to see you. How's the gym life and all that good stuff over there?
It's going, man. I popped in the gym the other day, and it made me think of you. I was like, oh crap! I kind of got my calendar set up now. Like I look a little more professional. Let's see if we can get him on.
No,
So
no,
I
that's
was thinking of
great,
you.
man.
It was good. I'm glad I went to that gym that day so I could try to connect with you. Have
Nice.
you been going?
No, after the membership expired, they didn't want to work with me, so I said bye.
Oh, really? Did they jack up the prices?
Oh yeah, oh yeah, and
I
it
haven't even
doubled.
checked.
Yeah, it doubled. So I'm like, dude, really? You're doubling the price and the services here and the locker room and the carpet and
Steam room
everything.
doesn't work. Carpet's moldy.
Yeah,
Steam
like
room,
I'm sorry.
yeah, sauna needs
I'm
some resealing.
yeah. I was like, I'm gonna be real. I'm not gonna pay double the price for half the services that are missing and you're
Right.
not trying to fix. So you're not gonna get my money. Sorry. Bye.
Nice. Where are you at now then?
No gym right now.
Ooh, what are you doing, Juan?
I'm still running. I'm biking from home. There's
Yeah.
some Bond Park has fitness equipment, so you can go there. You can do
Yeah.
push-ups here. I got weights right here. I got a little thing. You can do push-ups. You can do sit-ups. You can do yoga. You can do pull-ups randomly anywhere.
Oh, you're fine. You don't need
So
a gym.
I'm making it happen, Chris. And
That's
there
great.
is a new one opening up, and it's over here at Beaver Creek.
Uh-huh.
One Life Fitness, I think it is, or One Fitness. So I don't know. I'll send it to you after
Yeah,
this
please
call.
do.
But yeah, it's much cheaper. It's brand new. It's going to open November 1st, and
Okay.
that's where I'm going to be.
The biggest part for the gym for me is the steam room and the sauna. Does it have that?
It does, and it's also going to have an indoor saltwater pool, and it's got a new technology that you're going to start seeing in the whole fitness world. This is an infrared room that helps healing all the muscles and ligaments and stuff with
Like
the
a
infrared.
tanning bed or something? Like a recovery tanning bed?
Not really. You're not going to sit in there in this little like casket. You're
Yeah.
actually going to be in some sort of room with all these infrared lights. And I think what they were saying is, and I haven't looked up the science, so don't quote me on any of this, but apparently the infrared lights helps penetrate the cells and helps them regenerate and recover from hard workouts and stuff. And a lot of the fitness industry world that are moving towards that. And I've even seen people you can buy like an infrared light that you can set up on the back of your door. And you can turn your own room into an infrared light and you sit there for 10, 20 minutes and it helps heal and regenerate stuff.
I'm going to
So
do some research on that. That sounds really
yeah,
interesting.
me too, because I don't know anything about it. I know what they have going into this new gym and the people that I follow on Instagram that they're fitness fanatics. This one chick already bought this light thing and she's gung ho about it. I mean, she even wrote a book on, I think it's like Road to Boston. And so she basically wrote this book on how to convert people that want to get into the Boston Marathon. And
Okay.
it takes a while. And so whatever stuff she gets, it's legit. She's done the research. And so I trust all the stuff that she's talking about and stuff.
Well,
So
dude, I mean, going forward, man, if you would, just stay in my network and if, any fitness stuff that you're getting into, I want to stay on the cutting edge of it. I'm pretty brand new into the fitness world. I've only been working out for a little over 2 years now, but I keep feeling the drive to get more and more and more involved. And I talked to you a little bit about running. I'm getting my second hip replaced in May.
oh
And
my
then
God.
after that, I want to start running again.
I didn't even know that you had one hip replaced before.
Yeah, man.
Which, left or right?
I had my right hip replaced in 2018,
Oh
and then
my.
my left hip now. I don't know if I
Okay.
told you any of my story and kind of why the podcast even came to be. My kind of the I'll give you a quick shot of it. It's like I was a really hardcore drug addict and alcoholic for a very long time, from 13 to I finally quit at 38.
Okay.
And you can
Okay.
imagine the drama and all the pain that I have caused during that time. So, when I was struggling to quit and I really thought that I wanted to quit, I just couldn't do it. Like, no matter what I tried. Eventually, things got really, really bad. I ended up in a hospital. I lost my kids. My wife moved to North Carolina, and I was just like, what am I going to do? I was in a situation where I was like, I'm either going to drink myself to death for sure, kill myself right now, or I'm going to North Carolina. I'm gonna get my shit together and get it right. And so when I got here, I sobered up before I left the day before, got here, and I had no idea how to stay sober. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna Google AA. I've heard of AA. I have some experience in it.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of started shopping around meetings, and one day I was just in a meeting. I had been here maybe a week or two, and I was just fresh, no friends, no nothing. I had a job, and I was in this meeting just kind of going through the motions. I was real anxious and upset, and this guy that was in there, I'll never see him again. I don't even remember what he looked like. He was sitting behind me, but he told a story. He told his story, and while he was saying it, I was like, that's exactly what I did. That's exactly how I feel. That's exactly what happened to me. Like, it was weird.
Mm.
And the
Mm.
way that I was able to connect with that story, like literally from that moment, I was like, huh. If at the time I felt like no one could understand what I was going through. And when I heard him say
Yeah.
it, it was kind of oh my God, maybe people do understand this. And so I made a connection there, and it was from a story. And so because that story helped me, like crazy help, so much help. I want to tell stories. I want to tell stories of everybody else. So that's kind of the reason the podcast exists. I
Wow.
want to put positivity in the world. I want to hear stories of hardship that people have overcome. I want to pump as much positivity into the world that I can, because my past isn't so great. I feel like I
Dude,
got to make up for it.
no, Chris, thank you for sharing that and being honest. I mean, it takes courage to share
Right.
your past of where you've come from addiction to being recovering or a recovered addict. And dude, I'm telling you, I'm living a new lifestyle. Just kind of tying what you're saying and trying to understand your perspective. I have a friend that is going through what you're specifically saying.
Man.
He's having a hard time with alcohol, and I lived with him after college. I saw it myself, but after college we were young, so I didn't think too much of it. I moved out, got married, had a kid, and to this day he's still doing the same thing. I think last year he finally checked himself in, because I think he hit bottom, and he
Yeah.
checked himself in, came out and was, I could hear it in his voice. He was more fresh,
Hmm.
recovered. He was connecting dots. But then recently, it sounds like he's back in the same routine. And I called him randomly, just, hey, how are you doing, man? I'm really just checking in on you as a friend. Like, I care about you. And
Right.
he just sounds like, I feel like he's in this vicious cycle that he can't get himself out. And I told him, look, man, I'm not a therapist. I have no idea what you're going through. But all I know is there's one way out, and it's through you. You yourself has to want to get out of
Right.
it. And it's going to be a struggle. I can't imagine how easy it is or how hard it is. But I'm like, dude, I need to help him somehow, because he's a great guy, but it's like he doesn't, like he's scared to let the bottle go, I think.
Yeah.
And he started his own business. Like through all this, he started his own business. He hired employees for his own business that he started, and it went well. And then he got back to the bottle, and now he kind of like sold it off a little bit because he can't manage to get out there
The
himself, and he's like
damage
he's
that
scared.
alcohol can cause is, I've learned it firsthand. But that story, the story you're telling, man, I hear it every day. Like, that is crazy to me.
Dude,
Is it possible for you to try to hook us up? I know it's a
that
long shot,
and
but
I was gonna ask if that
I'm
was
involved,
okay
dude,
with
and this is why
you.
the podcast exists. Uh, I got to tell you a quick story just because I'm thinking of it. I
Sure.
was an atheist before I got to North Carolina, before I quit drinking. I was an atheist, hardcore atheist. I would argue with everyone. If you believed in God and you said it around me, I'm going to try to argue with you and tell you why he's not real. That's how bad it was. And during this process, man, so many, like that story I told you earlier when I was in that meeting, like I saw that as a coincidence, but that had happened so many more times in a short amount of time when I first got sober that people were telling me like, that's not coincidence, dude, that's God. What do you mean? God doesn't exist, you know? And I fought that for a long time, and then maybe like 8 months to a year, I'm like, it has to be God because it keeps happening. This, like, the reason you brought that up, that's God to me.
Yeah, and me too, dude.
It's
And
crazy.
I wasn't going to bring up God unless you did.
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer. I was raised Catholic. I mean, my mom forced me to go to church, and I
Hmm.
was like, oh, all right, we're going to go to church. And I would go to church kind of
Right.
pissed off, like sitting there like, yeah, okay, whatever. Can we just get out of here? And that
Right.
was kind of like my life growing up as a teenager. And then in college, I was like, you know what? I'm going to go to church one time. And I randomly went to church on my own. I'm like, all right. And I met some couple people, and these people were good people, and they were doing other things in life that I was like, oh, I kind of want to be part of that. And if I didn't make that choice on my own, or that God
God
planted
made
that
that choice.
idea. Yeah, God planted that idea on a college kid on a Sunday morning.
That's crazy.
Ain't no one going to church, you
No.
know? So I'm like, I'm probably gonna be the only
This
college
nerd
kid.
going to church. We're all trying
Yeah,
to recover from our hangovers.
you know, and I was hungover because I played rugby. So after
Yeah.
our Saturday games, we would buy kegs and get slashed.
Right.
And you know, and that morning something woke me up, and I'm like, you know what, I'm still hungover, but I'm going to go to church, whatever. And I met good people that to this day I'm friends with still, and it's just like, all right. And I still continued drinking through college. It's not a big deal. I'm very thankful that I never got to the point that I was addicted, that I needed to, or that I felt like the alcohol was controlling my life. But it did get to the point that I had an accident my senior year. And my senior year, I had to focus to get 2 major classes done. And I know I was kind of on the trend of drinking more often than not. You know, like Monday Night Football. Okay, we're going to drink.
Right.
Thursday
We
Night
got rugby
Football. All
practice.
right,
Let's
we're going to
go.
drink. Yeah. Friday night, we had rugby practice, and we'd all go drink afterwards. Even though we had a game Saturday,
Of course.
we get trashed. We'd wake up, take a couple of swigs, get out on the pitch, and we'd play the full 90-minute game, and we'd win.
All
And
hungover.
then all hungover, we'd win and buy the kegs, and we'd have a party Saturday night. And then
Hmm.
Sunday night was just kind of like, all right, nothing's really going on. But Monday Night Football, here we go. And
Right.
it was just like a vicious cycle. And I graduated college. Thank God I was alive. I made it through all of that mess. And then just kind of fast forward to, you know, getting through my like professional career, you know, the first couple of years we'd go out happy hour. Right? And it was like normal. Everyone would go to happy hour. You'd see your bosses there drinking. Everyone was drinking.
Yeah.
And to the point that I started gaining a lot of weight because I wasn't running
I can't
Tuesday
picture
through
that, Juan.
Thursday. Dude, I got to, I think it was like 185 pounds. And
Damn.
yeah, I'm small for so
You are.
185. I was a little round. My pants were 38.
Wow.
You know, yeah, I was
No kidding.
38, 185, and I was 5'9". So I'm like a little rolling ball, just kind of big chunky. And
Right. Was that part of the reason you're like, man, I got to get fit?
yes, exactly. So
No
I was
kidding.
like, you know what? I'm going to start running because I know, and I played football in high school, and before that I was playing soccer and basketball. I was always active in running. And so the federal government, I was like, all right, I want to start running. And I would run from my office building, which was right next to the Capitol building, down to the Washington Monument and back. And that was 7 miles round trip. And one morning the very first morning I did, I was like, oh my God, that's like the most,
So at 180 pounds, you did it?
yes. And
Dope.
it hurt, dude. It hurt. I was in pain, my muscles, everything. I was like, I don't know if I can do that again.
Right.
And so I took a week off and I went back at it the next week and it felt a little easier. I was like, all right, that's not as bad as I thought it was.
Yeah.
And for 10 years, I did that every other day to the point that I met people running on the
Like,
National
there's Juan
Mall.
again on his normal morning route.
Yeah, exactly. The security officers would, as I would drive into the morning, like, oh, you're going out for your run here now, right? I'm like, yeah, you're right. You got me. So people started noticing to the point that I met a gentleman in my office building who turned out to be an Olympic cyclist for Iran in 1992, the Barcelona Games. And Iran that year sent only 10 or 11 people total to represent the entire country. And he was one of those, and it was 4 of them doing the road cycling and the indoor crit, like the velodrome thing.
Yep.
And he was one of those.
Nice.
And he basically got me into cycling. He built my bicycle during lunchtime. And it wasn't like he had it like pre-built and he just kind of tighten things on and put the wheels. He brought the box. Like, I gave him money. He bought it for me because he had a group discount. He's been cycling since before 1992. So he's
dude, building you a custom-made bike for your body specifically, probably, right?
dude, he sure did, and he knew the brand because he's been using that brand since before I think I was born. I came. He's like, hey, what are you doing at lunch today? And I gave him the $2,000 to buy this bike. And it was like almost 2 months, and I hadn't heard from him, hadn't seen from him. I'm like, dude, this guy straight up jacked my $2,000. Like,
He's gone.
How do I explain that to my wife? Like, hey, that's going to be a tough one. But
You're not.
Yeah, I was like, somehow I'm going to have to find a bicycle. Anyway, so he emailed me randomly. He's like, hey, what are you doing today at lunch? I'm like, eating.
Like
what else?
normal?
What else would I be doing? You know? And he's like, all right, get your ass downstairs. Oops, sorry.
You're fine. You can cut.
Get yourself downstairs at lunchtime. We're going to build your bike. I'm like, all right. So I'm like in my shirt and tie, and he's, you know, because federal government employees, you had to be dressed for the part. I go downstairs in the lobby. He had his shirt sleeve rolled up, his jacket hanging, his tie hanging like on the side of the door. And he's like, here's your bike. I'm like, that's a box. He goes, yeah, it's inside here, dummy. So he like pulled out the thing, and it was still in all the bubble wrap, all the wrapping. And his buddy that he had trained for a couple of years, he came down to Victor, and both of them with tools, they put the cables through the frames. They tightened up all the cassette. They put the cassette on the bike, the back of the bike wheel. They put the crank where you pedal. They tightened the pedals, the screws, the handlebars. They wrapped the tape around it.
Yeah.
They put all the stuff. And then the bike, all bicycles that you buy from scratch, it doesn't matter if it's a professional bike or if it's a bike from Walmart. They come with the reflective safety. My buddy goes, man, you don't need this crap. He just broke it off with his hand. I'm like, I don't know anything about cycling, so whatever you say, I'm going to go with it.
Well, they kind of set you up to it. They put you in a situation where, like, I guess I'm going to be a cycler for sure, no matter what, because I don't want to let you guys down. You're building me a dope bike.
Exactly. So they built this bike within like 35 minutes, which was just mind-blowing, because I think if I had to do it, it would have taken me like 3 months, because I'm like reading the instructions. Put this in each screw for bike, and this bike, it was a carbon fiber bike, so you have to have specific
special screws, special tools,
and the special pressure for each thing. So that for them to be like just putting it at was just like
they didn't even look at the instructions. They just busted it out.
They just busted. They knew exactly what they were doing. And then when they finished, they're like, all right, here you go, test ride. I'm like, in my suit, and they're like, yeah, man, just roll your sleeve up right there and put your sock over. And I'm like, all right, man, I'm just, whatever you tell me to do, I'm just going to do it. Like,
right.
I don't know. So I tested it inside the garage. The bike it felt like I was riding a Bentley I mean, you and I probably, before I even got to this, rode just a mountain bike and just something like, you know, whatever. This thing felt like a professional bicycle. I'm like, dang, all right, the $2,000 was, if you get a chance, I got to get you one of these bikes. Incredible. So anyways, fast forward to basically at that point, I had met these guys now for about 4 years into this contract being in the federal government. The guy, Nima, he lived out in Purcellville, Virginia, which was about 50 miles from D.C. And I would come down, and I was the government contract. Like, I was the government, and Nima was the contractor. So that's how I met him. Is I was supposed to be managing his contract, but I'm the new guy. I'm the young guy, and I'm like, yo, Nima, this thing broke. He's like, man, I got this. Comes to find out, he's been working with the government for longer than I've been alive, but he just wanted to remain as a contractor.
Yo, what up? This is Little Dice Rutabaga on the mic.
You know what separates the champions from the rest? It's not just about the will to win, it's about the will to prepare. I'm not just doing pull-ups, I'm pushing limits. Every rep is a reminder that I'm capable of more than I thought possible. That's why I chose Bucked Up. Their supplements give me the edge I need to take my workouts to the next level. From pre-workouts to recovery, they've got everything I need to stay on top of my game. With Bucked Up, I get the energy, focus, and endurance to crush every session. Whether you're a pro or just starting out, their products will help you achieve your fitness goals faster. Ready to unlock your full potential? Visit buckedup.com and use code McMedia1 at checkout for exclusive savings available only to my followers.
Contractor working for the government for his business that was better. So it was weird that this young boy has no idea what he's doing in the federal government, is managing a contract of the president and the
Government
US,
contract.
yeah, and he's like Olympic cyclist. Like the dude is just fabulous. So that's how we met. Again, tying it back to God.
Yeah.
I can't make up these stories. God
Yeah.
put us together for that perfect timing. And so, long story short, Nima would ride his bicycle from Percival 50 miles into our building, work all day, do all the crazy things he did,
And
and
50 miles
ride
back?
100 miles daily. And I couldn't believe it. I was like, no way. There's
I don't
no way.
understand that. I can't compute that. That's
I couldn't either at that point. I was like, that's impossible. And so then after he gave me this bike, he's like, dude, where do you live? I'm like, I live in Fairfax. He's like, dude, that's only 25 miles to the office. You can leave your car at home and start riding this. I built you this, start riding this to the office. I'm like, yeah, okay. I'm not going to ride 25. That's 50 miles a day. He's like, I do it one way, dude. It's fine. I'm like, uh-huh.
Yeah.
Dude, he finally convinced me to do it. So I would ride my bike back and forth.
How was riding your bike to work comparative to when you were running in DC?
Oh, dude, it felt painful. Like,
Same?
it was so hard. I mean, going into DC where I lived, it was like a downhill thing. Going in was nice, and it was morning, so there's no traffic, beautiful. Right. And there was a trail, the WNOD Washington Old Dominion Trail, that would connect from Fairfax and Vienna, where I live, all the way into DC. And then coming back, though, that first day coming back, I'm like,
tired after work.
Tired after work, and 9-hour shift. And I get on my bicycle. I'm excited. I got a new bike. I'm coming home. And then I get out of the DC area. And then it's like,
you get to your hill and you're like,
oh, it wasn't a hill. It was like 5 to 6 hills on this 25-mile route going uphill. The entire, I'm like, dude, I got home. I'm like, I'm supposed to ride back there tomorrow?
I can't walk into my house.
Yeah, I was like, bump that? No way. And it took I think like 3 months for my body to kind of adjust. And me, I'd taken a couple of days off and then I was like, Nima, dude, what the heck, man? My legs just, I don't feel them. He's like, good, they're finally building muscles. You ain't having no muscles there. I'm like, man, you got no sympathy.
Dang, that makes me feel weak.
I know. And so he inspired me to just do it. And eventually it became like driving, literally like riding a bicycle. You just hop on and you just whatever, you do it.
Yeah, like whenever you got to go somewhere, you think of your bike first.
Yeah, like so that was second nature. And man, Chris, over the time of 10 years, I saved our truck so many miles. Because, I mean, 25 miles, 50 miles round trip. But not only that, coming home, driving from D.C. home, it took an hour and a half to 2.5, sometimes 3 hours, depending on the traffic and the weather. And one morning, my buddy, him and I was riding my bicycle up the ramp of the garage to get to the main street to start my commute home. And he drove up, and we both lived in the same neighborhood. And I was like, all right, here's the real test. Don't take any shortcuts. Don't speed.
Yep.
You drive normally how you normally do. And I'm not going to like speed. I'm just going to ride my bike.
You can't speed.
Well, yeah. I couldn't speed. I beat him home by 25 minutes on a bicycle.
No kidding.
That's how bad the traffic is up there. And that right there solidified what I'm doing is healthy. It's saving miles on my truck.
Saving money?
Saving money on gas, maintenance, all this stuff. Eventually, I just gave up, like, trying to fight it. Like, all right, I'm in it. I'm full-fledged. Yeah. Winter came, and it was like, dude, whoa, now it's a little cold. So he's like, dude, what you need to do is wear skis, gear on top, but underneath put plastic bag, like grocery bags, plastic bags on your hands, plastic bags on your toes. And if it gets below, he goes, if it gets below 25, that's when you want to put hand warmers inside those bags and then put on your ski gear and your ski gloves.
No excuses.
I was like, dude, okay.
You're riding the bike. It doesn't matter if there's a hurricane outside. We ride bikes here, all right?
Exactly. That's exactly what he said. So I rode my bike in the rain, snow, sleet, in and out. It didn't matter, to the point that I switched from just running to biking. And then at our gym, or at our building, at the government building, there was a gym in the lobby. So it was perfect because I'd get in there, park my bike, go upstairs, do a little bit of squats and all this stuff, shower. And
get everything loose again.
Yeah, get everything loose, foam roll. And then I was upstairs working for the 9 hours. And at lunchtime, then he started bringing me out to go biking at lunch. And I'm like, dude, you're going to kill me, man. Like, what the heck? And
dude, they were like grooming you, bro.
Yeah, and so long story short, those lunch rides were actually professional national champions and world champions for cycling, roads, and crit, and all of them live in that area. So Nima, he would train them at lunchtime, and he's leading these guys. And I went out.
You accidentally ended up in this circle, huh?
Oh my God. It was just God. God
Right,
put me
right.
in this. There's no way I would have put myself in there by myself. There's just no way.
No.
And so the first time I remember I went out at that lunch ride, dude, I thought I was literally going to die. He's like, okay, we do about 4 to 7 loops. I'm like, oh, okay, 4 to 7. That sounds short. Each loop is only 3.5 miles. I'm like, on a bicycle, that's no
I
problem.
can do that.
So he goes, anyways, when you get dropped, he didn't say if, he goes, when you get dropped, just turn around and trace the loop backwards. And when you see us like coming like far in the distance, you turn yourself and start sprinting. And when we pass you, you latch on as hard as you can to the very last person and hold on as long as you can. And then you get dropped again. You do the same thing until we're done. And then you and me ride back to the office. I'm like,
That sounds like something I would pass out doing.
I'm like, there's only 3-4 loops, man. I'll hang on the whole time. Like, whatever.
Yeah. What,
Dude, I hang on to the first loop and I'm looking down. We're going 25 miles an hour. I'm like, oh, dang, this is, and he said
you're
the
in an
first,
angle, right?
yeah, so it's a big circle. It's called Haynes Point, East Potomac Park. And there's a big golf course, par-3 golf course in the middle of this entire loop,
Okay.
off of the waterfront wharf in the DC.
Okay.
And so I made it on the first loop, and Nima told me the first loop is just the warm-up, just to get, your blood flowing and people flowing. And I looked down, I'm like, damn, we're going 25 miles an hour. I've never hit 25 miles an hour on a bike. When I'm commuting home, I'm hitting like 10, 15. Maybe I hit 18 on like a downhill. I'm like, 25? That's not right. That's fast.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, all right, well, that's one loop. And he says they do 4 to 7. All right, maybe I'll just hang on to the 4 at this rate and I'll be okay. Dude,
At 25 miles an hour?
as soon as they turned to start the second loop, they turned it up from 25 to 28. And then I was like, and then people started passing me like, oh man, dude, get the heck out of the way. Get out of the way.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm pedaling as
You're like, I'm
fast
doing
as
everything I can.
Yeah, like I'm putting all my gears, like everything that I can. I'm like, dude, what the? And then I look up, they were gone, already gone. Like, we haven't even made it to the turnaround point.
They
I'm like,
predicted that.
and so I'm like, all right, Nima said to turn around and trace the loop back. So that's what I did. I traced the loop back. And then I saw like a speckle of like, and it's a big peloton. There's like 35, 40 cyclists. It's not just 3. It's a big peloton. I'm like, all right, there they come. So I turned around and I started sprinting like he'd said. And within like 20 seconds, I was like 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, because I didn't want to turn around and loop. Dude, they started passing me. I'm like, okay, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8. Oh, shoot. I'm like trying to get in to like catch it. Dude, they passed me. I'm like,
You.
I didn't even like get a chance to latch on. I'm like, oh shoot. And I was like, oh, that was their third loop.
We'll get you on the next one, boss.
Dude, I couldn't even complete. I completed the second.
Hey, your audio fell out.
Can you hear me?
No, I can, yeah.
Sorry, someone was calling.
No worries.
So anyways, long story short, that's how I got into cycling. I was already a runner. And then meeting people at the gym there, one of them was like, oh, let's do this triathlon thing. I'm like, what is a triathlon? At this point, I'm like, I'm just going to get involved to whatever I can.
Yeah, if someone tells me something fitness related, I'm in. Let's try.
Yeah. So I was like, all right. And they're like, oh, you got to swim, bike, run. I'm like, did you say swim? What the? How long are we swimming? Like
I'm
5?
on land, shoes, bikes, I'm that guy.
That was another thing. And dude, I'll save you the details. It was a very short sprint. It was like 750 meters. So in a pool, just think going back and forth, I think it's only like 10 times. Go 1, 2, 10 times.
An Olympic size pool?
Yeah. And this was just in a lake, but it was in a lake.
Right.
I'm like, okay, and I went out, I tried going across the pool. I didn't even make it across the pool. I was like, I'm going to drown. I'm totally going to die, but whatever.
Did you gas out? You tried to go really hard at first?
I try to go first hard. I try to go like kind of consistent. I'm like, I don't even know how to swim. Like, what the? How am I supposed to get out of the water and get on a bike and then run? Like, okay.
Yeah.
So I kind of worked my way up to like how to at least doggy paddle my way through if I have to, and got to that first
paddling
race.
in a triathlon.
Dude, I got to the first race and I was visualizing this lake was massive, and it was in Luray, Virginia. It's called Arrowhead or Arrow Lake. And at that point, they had the cones in the water of where to turn. So it was just like an out, turn, and come back. I'm like, okay, that looks pretty darn easy. Just swim to that one, swim to this one, and come back. No problem. Dude, they hit the horn, and everyone, it was like barracudas in the water.
Yeah.
And people swam over me. I felt like I was like getting mauled and about to drown because people were swimming over me. My goggles kind of came off. I'm like, oh my God.
Oh, man.
I looked up and that cone looked like it was 45 miles away. I'm like, I'm supposed to get over there?
He like didn't move. Everyone's already passed you.
The whole like group of people, because it was per waves, and each wave went every 20 seconds. So I'm like, good grief, there's going to be another wave of freaking sharks coming. So as the first wave went, I tried to kind of like get in a rhythm, and my heart rate was up the wazoo. I turned on my back. I'm like, oh God, like I was literally this close from quitting. I was like, this is not for me, man. This is stupid. Like, no way. And again, I think God was like, hey, get your ass up, man. And I somehow made it through. The wave past me. Somehow people they saw that I was struggling. So people went around me instead of swimming over me. That was like, okay, well, people are being respectful. This is at least nice. And dude, I got out of the water. I didn't drown, thank goodness. I got out of the water and I looked.
Were you tired as hell?
I was very tired. I was like, I can't even believe I have to bike and then run. Like, I don't even know if I got,
oh my God.
Like, I don't even know if I have energy to do all that. And I looked, I was like, okay, because they were telling me, when you get out of the bike, remember where you parked your bike and your little number because you have to run there. And I'm like, okay, I remember where I parked my bike, and I'm like running up shore. All right, I know where my bike is. I run up shore, and then the transition area where all the bikes were parked. Mm-hmm. I looked, I was like, oh my God.
There's 5,000 bikes over there.
One bike.
Oh, it's only you.
Sorry. So, there's my damn bike.
Sorry, bro.
I don't even need to look. There's
just
my bike.
one.
It's just one. This one is like, good God, this place was jam-packed with bicycles in the morning, and now it's just one bike. And I was like, shit. And it was a borrowed bike. The guy, Victor, who helped Nima, he's like, dude, you're going to need a different bike for this race. Yeah. Borrow mine. I borrowed his. I like trained on his. I borrowed his. And there it was. And dude, I got on the bike and something gave me this energy of like, biking feels easy. Like, I know this. So, and I started passing people, and it gave me motivation. Like, all right. I can pass people. Like I was the last bicycle, but now I'm starting to pass people. Now I'm not going to be the last person to finish. And I finished the bike, and there were still people. As I finished the bike, I racked it. I parked it, put my running shoes on. I started running. It started raining. I'm like, oh, great. This is just wonderful. And I started passing people while I was running. I was like, I actually feel pretty good.
Well, you got to your cream of the crop stuff that you love doing at the end. You just got tired as heck beforehand.
I mean, I'm not a swimmer. I've never swam. I never knew how. I knew how to like float and kind of like, sharks and minnows. You beat your buddies. Right. That's it. But not for sport, like especially not for triathlon. I had no idea the type of swimming you needed to be prepared for. So sorry, it's been a long-winded kind of background of where I came from to being a full 140.6 5-time Ironman finisher. It didn't just happen overnight, man.
No, that's a good first story though, because I imagine when you're done, like if that happened to me and I was the last one, I would walk away from that competition kind of like never again. I'm coming back here next year. I'm getting at least not last.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of stuff that motivates me,
By the end of that run, and it was a 5K, so just 3.1 miles, I was passing so many people, and I saw the finish line. I started sprinting because I was so happy. My family, wife, and everyone were there. And I was like, dude, this is like the most coolest feeling, knowing that you swam, you biked, and now you're finishing a run in one sport. And then this guy starts running faster, like competing. I'm like,
hell no.
There's no way this guy's going to beat me. And I looked at him. He was like 65, old man, kind of chunky with a beard. I'm like, how in the world am I feeling like I'm going to die? And I feel like I'm more in shape. And he's about to like beat me.
Right.
That's when it set into me. And like, dude, the triathlon sport is something else that it's incredible. And I'll quote Hines Ward. You know who he is?
He was the receiver, right?
Receiver for Pittsburgh Steelers, won the Super Bowl. After he won the Super Bowl, he went and he was like, you know what is this Ironman thing? he's got all the money in the world and the accolades and sponsors. So they put him with a trainer, all the nutrition, all the proper gear, and he trained for the full year to go and race in Kona. You know, he's a
triathlon in Kona.
Yeah, the world championship of the triathlon. They put him there to race it because he's a Super Bowl MVP or whatever. He's going to be eligible to do that. In order to get to Kona, you have to qualify. You have to be the top 3 in your age group to qualify to be going to Kona. That's how special that is.
Okay.
And that's my dream. That's my goal. I want to take my family to Kona or wherever the world championship is that I qualify. I want to qualify for real. That is it. And I'm working day in, day out for that. And I told my wife, once we go to Kona, I will retire from the sport because I've come from nothing to that. And
then you're going to get into eating Philly cheesesteaks and drinking beer again.
Yeah. So anyways, so even Hines Ward, and you can look this up, Hines Ward said he's got more respect for triathletes than any sport athlete on earth because it's the most grueling thing he's ever done. And I beat his time. My very first.
Bragging rights.
Hey, if you can beat a Super Bowl champ's time on
I'll
an
make
Ironman,
100 videos if I ever do that.
You know what I'm saying? So that was like, man, this is where it's at. And when you go to these Ironman races, Chris, you not only see the most fittest people in the world, you see old people in their 80s racing, finishing, smiling, healthy, and it defies
logic. The human body is crazy, dude. Like you were talking about a 60-year-old guy that just was creeping on you at the end of a triathlon.
I know. I was like, good grief. And now that I've been in this sport since 2013, I understand why the older folks are as strong as they are because they're retired. They have more funds. They have more time. All their kids are professionals or out of the house and they're not having to, be daily with the kids and driving them to school or taking them to sports or going, doing all those things. These old folks have all the time, all the money in the world. What else are they going to do? Sit on their butts and wait until they die?
No, their job is training.
Exactly. And that keeps them healthy and happy and living longer lives. So
I want that kind of future too. Like I'm in the process of really trying to get this fitness thing stuck into the whole family. Like my oldest son, he's an athlete. My younger one, not so much. And, my wife, we've been flirting with getting into Lifetime. I want to get a family package together so we can all go hang out. Like fitness becomes a part of a family event. I want to try to incorporate that into what we are doing. So we're pricing out Lifetime.
Dude, Chris, let me tell you one thing. I don't have my wallet right now. I'm going to send you Chris. I forgot his last name. Chris is the general manager of this new fitness center that they're building right here at Beaver Creek. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the Apex area.
Yeah, my daughter lives in the Beaver Creek area. That's where we just moved from. I live in the Holly Springs side of Apex right now. So I'm very familiar, and we're all in this area. Yeah,
so where the movie theater was in Beaver Creek, that's where the new gym's going to be.
In the movie theater?
In the movie theater. That movie
theater, that'll be dope. That'll be big.
Yes, it's going to be big. Right now they have the showroom open.
Okay.
And if I knew, I would have told you to go. Last month was the first month that they had their little mini showroom open.
Okay.
And the rates are really reasonable. Like right now I signed my wife and I up for the basic. And the basic is $29 a month. And
dude.
Yeah, $29 exactly. It's cheaper than what I was paying before. Exactly. $29 for the basic. You can then upgrade to the mid grade, which is I think it's $34 or $39.99. And then the premium I think was $49.99. Right now they're grandfathering people in on those rates before it opens on November 1st. So whatever rate you lock in from now until then, they're going to keep those rates for 3 to 4 years down the road. However, on February 28th, which was a couple of Fridays ago, those rates that I just gave you, that was the rates that they were offering out the back.
They go up a little bit now?
Yeah, each month they go up a little bit. So I don't know which the rates are right now, but I can send you over to Chris and I'm be like, hey, Chris, my buddy Chris.
Chris is coming to see you.
And he's got his family. I know you can hook him up with the pre-race from February, dude.
I would
Like
sure appreciate that. Hell yeah.
anything that he can do, he might be able to hook you all up. And I've already sent him a couple of people from the guy that I work out with, Brad. He signed up, and his daughter.
Okay.
And other people have already signed up. You know the guy that walks around with the fun shirts that says "MILFs, not
Yes.
drugs"? He signed up.
Okay.
Matthew is
Dude,
the
O2's
coolest
gonna sue
dude.
you soon, bro.
Don't
I'll
say a
cut that out.
word. Yeah, don't say a word to them.
No.
I mean, dude, honestly, I worked with Trent, the general manager. I'm like, dude, Trent, come on, man. I want to be here. I love this gym. I love the setup O2's got. I really
too.
do. It's a little old and clanky, but it's a great gym.
I like that they have that turf area, and they have the separate rooms for, like, my father-in-law can do fitness classes if he wants, so my yoga classes.
Yeah.
It has everything that a family would need.
Exactly. It's a great gym. They just have to work a little bit on the maintenance side, which, I mean, we're paying for that. And, now that they're raising rates, they have to bring in the maintenance to clean it up. At least vacuum the damn place.
There's seal up the sauna.
Seal up the sauna, it's not that hard, bro. But then they did tell me they're getting rid of the steam room and they're going to expand the whole sauna. So at least you're going to have
So this is a perfect time for me to go talk to your buddy. If you can get a meeting with me and him, I can tell him, what I'm kind of looking at. I would really appreciate that.
After this call, I'll send you all his info and I'll text him because he's like, if you can get 3 people to sign up, you get 1 free month. So I've already got that free month.
Dude, I'll get you 6 months. I got me, my daughter, my daughter's husband, my wife, my 12-year-old, and my 15-year-old. We all have to go to the gym.
There you go. And I would really appreciate that if you put me as a referral. If
No
not,
problem.
totally. But still, I think that's a great opportunity to at least go check it out. And it's going to be an awesome pool. We'll be there for sure. God willing that he still keeps us alive till then. But that's a great place for y'all to go. And it's a new gym.
After we're done with the podcast, I'm going to head out to work. I might swing by and just kind of drop in and take a look.
Yeah. He's there all the time. He's the general manager.
His name is Chris too?
Yeah, Chris. I don't have the card. Yeah, my thing's upstairs. I'll send you all his info, and I'll text him that you're coming today. That way, cool. He'll hook you up, and I'll ask him like, hey, I'm gonna pretend like, hey, I don't know what the rates are now, but can you at least give him the rates that I signed up for, because he's gonna bring not just him, but like his entire family and their family. Like that's many folks. So
absolutely, yeah, I'll definitely put you down. I'd
dude,
appreciate
I'm telling
it too.
you,
That's cool.
this is another thing of God, man. Like I really appreciate you reaching out to me, man. I'm sorry that I haven't been able to connect with you. Last thing to kind of wrap it up on my life story is, so we moved to this area about almost 8 years ago now, because I was working with the government, and I was able to commute back and forth from here to there for about 1.5 years. I was starting to lose faith that I would not find a job here. And I was staying with Nima. He was like, dude, you can just stay in my apartment dude, I'm not even going to tell you how much, because I felt like I was taking advantage. It was so low, Chris. You will never find a rate like that. I mean, it was under $60 for a month. You don't see that stuff. Like I said,
you can't even get a cardboard box for that.
Exactly. Like a gallon of paint right now is $58.99.
Yeah.
And I was paying that for rent. And he would cook food.
Awesome. He's a mentor. It sounds like these guys that introduced you to biking, I was kind of picking up on this when you were talking, they saw something in you. They saw something great, and they're like, dude, this guy's got it. Let's help him. Let's mentor him a little bit. Is that what kind of happened?
I mean, without me even asking, it just kind of happened naturally. And maybe that's what their thought process was, and they saw that. But I was just like, man, I know I can't fit into these clothes anymore. I can't be chunky anymore. Like, I need to change something in me. And all these little changes led to these people and these opportunities. And so now been here for 7 years. I've been working from home remotely. And then I switched from the government to the nonprofit world. And I'm not sure if you follow the news, but the nonprofit world from USAID is getting
wiped out.
Yeah. So right now I am currently searching for other jobs because I am furloughed. I don't have a job right now. So
I haven't met anyone that was actually affected from those policies. That's crazy.
Here's your first one that you're meeting, dude.
Tell me about that experience. What's that like right now for you?
Dude,
is there uncertainty, or are you okay?
So thank you for asking, man. That means a lot that you care. Honestly, dude, I got this job because I worked with the government. I had that experience. Now I'm coming on the nonprofit side. They saw that I've worked there, so I know the rules and regulations. So now working here, I'm requesting funds from the government to spread those monies around the world to help people get clean water. I mean, to their little towns so they can drink clean water, get food, get social health systems to better their health, mother and maternal health, to help mothers prepare and plan on how to have healthy babies. And once they have babies, what services are available to help their babies grow into healthy kids.
Right.
I mean, that was where my programs and my portfolio was. And it's day in, day out. I'm finance, so I'm managing all the financials behind it, working with the technical folks and the people that are there in those specific countries in Africa, like Malawi, Uganda, Mozambique, like all Kenya, all these countries. And I'm sitting here working busy day in, day out. So my time in the morning, I'd get up 4:30 in the morning, do all my trainings, go to the gym quickly, and I would be here by 9:30. And I would work from 9:30 to 7:30, times that my wife would be like, hey man, it's time to eat dinner. And she would cook dinner. They would serve, sit down, and my daughter would come and like, come on, Poppy, it's time to eat. Like, that's how passionate I was about this, because I know what I'm doing. It's giving back, and it's giving these people that they went from a little dirt town to the next town over that, hey, we actually have a little apartment and we can send our kids to school. We can actually day in, day out to crunch these numbers and do these budgets to all of a sudden, hey, by the way, you're going to get furloughed. Like, what? Wait a minute.
Is that how that conversation went down?
It went down just like that. And it was 37% of our organization, Emily Health International, FHI 360. You can look it up on the news. 37% of us on February 7th of this year said, sorry, we can't afford to keep anyone else on staff. And so that's
it's
where
crazy
I
what
am.
he's doing.
It is.
It is crazy. How do you have an opinion on Elon Musk?
Well, yes and no. I'm kind of alert and aware of what's happening. Think of Trojan horse. That's kind of Elon Musk status right now. It's, we're here to monitor efficiencies and try to save taxpayer dollars. But now look at our situation. They're saving taxpayer dollars, but everyone...
You're an actual American affected by his policies. And
so we
what
got
it looks like to me, like he even brought a chainsaw and like showing it off. Like, I don't like the imagery and the message that he's putting out. Like, yeah, I'm going to make some mistakes, but I'm going to come in there and I'm going to clean everything up. It's like, dude, you're affecting real people out there. Like, you're so far removed from a guy like you, a guy like me, that you can't comprehend the struggles of a person like that.
Yeah, and the fact that our country, America, USA, was built on foundations and rules and regulations. And fast forward to our modern world, immigrant people are not welcomed, unless you go through the right processes of getting your citizenship status and paying taxes and all that stuff. Like, then you're welcome. Now we have a billionaire of the entire world that just because that person's got all the money in the world and has control of so many stocks and things around the world, telling U.S. citizens, bye-bye, you're gone. Yeah. So now we have an immigrant telling people who have worked there for decades and had their careers.
An immigrant coming in me like, you immigrants.
Now you're gone. Yes.
Yeah.
Now, Chris, this is all my personal opinion and what I'm seeing. And it's sad because not only us people here in the U.S., the U.S.-based folks that are getting, cut from the federal government jobs, it's the people in those countries that I just explained that we gave them.
USAID, that was helping so many people across the world.
Yeah, we gave those people a breath of life. Like, you can live now. You're going to have food. You're going to have some bread coming to you, and you can live until tomorrow. Now that's gone. Yeah. These people are now back to...
upended an entire, maybe several different countries,
Oh, yeah. It's a worldwide impact.
Yeah. This is a crazy time. I try not to be political on my show, but, like, the more and more stuff that keeps happening, I'm like, dude, I got to say something.
Yeah. And again, I'm not bringing any politics.
No.
Just sharing, like, it's impacting the entire globe. And I think I think what the administration is doing is just they cut the snake head and now they're dealing with all the blood. And they're like, oh,
It seems like they
well,
keep cutting pieces off too. Like I don't know. I saw a bunch of clips
exactly.
from Canada today, from like the prime minister and like big people and leaders across the world, like
Yeah.
saying things about our country. Like we're not viewed anymore as the leader of the world. You
Yeah.
know, like we used to have this kind of status. Like America's protect you. They're kind of arrogant, but it looks like It feels like to me we're weaker on the world
And
stage now.
I'm so glad you said that. And kind of switching from the political to the World Economic Forum or stage here. I follow this guy on Instagram that talks about world economics. And basically, long story short, what he's explaining is even from the emperor ages, Rome, they gained their power and they gained all this stuff. And that was about 250 years of their power. Then it dropped and then another
Someone more
rise.
rose.
And it's a wave effect, and those waves are about 250 years is what this guy is explaining. And last year marked 250 years of the U.S. since it's been here.
Our reign, kind of.
Since we've been the USA and reigning the world power.
Right.
And that's why you see the US dollar has been diminished and
Stock
they've been
market's in the
crushing
tank.
the Bitcoin that was invented by a AI generated system. It's they're trying to crash the US dollar because it's been the powerhouse currency. So now that's being crashed. They're trying to add a new one, Bitcoin, to kind of distract people like, oh, here's an opportunity to make tons of money. Let's just put all my money there. So that grows the Bitcoin. And then all of a sudden you see China just kind of rising quietly, and China's on the rise. There's no other country right now in this world that has as much power and control and military sources as China. And China's buying all these lands in various countries worldwide. Again, this is all my personal global view and what I've been seeing and connecting these dots.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm 100% sure or this is all,
This
100%
is not any
facts.
advice. We are not experts.
We are definitely not experts, man. I'm happy to be here on your show, Chris. This is a great opportunity to just talk to you and connect. But it's just seeing these little dots starting to connect. It's like confirming a lot of things that I'm seeing, and it's weird, man. It is very odd, different times, and they keep selling the one world order, the one global world order, and it's like this is getting a little creepy now.
It kind of seems like that, though. There was a vote in, I think it was NATO a few weeks ago, where the United States, Iran, Syria, North Korea, Russia, Belarus, like we all voted together. So like, are we taking our place on the dark side? You know what I'm saying? That's what it feels like.
It's
Like, I don't want to be on the dark side, man.
No, I know. And we little people have no say. It's like
Right.
whatever the leadership does, we just kind of, we fall in that little cog. And I don't know, man. It's getting interesting. Just keep your eyes open. And I keep repeating it to my wife that she's probably like so tired of hearing it is. The only thing that's saving us.
Oh, you're going to have to say that again.
I say God is our only savior. I really, truly, firmly believe that.
I do too.
So, that's kind of the life story, and I'm happy to keep training. I've trained people from couch potato to 5K finishers, all the way up to 140.6 full Ironman finishers, and
Nice.
I've been able to do all that, and I think God's helped me give those tools, and got beat up by Nima and all them to learn the trade and have the mental courage to kind of keep going, even though I'm like not even close.
Yeah. Well, Juan, I super appreciate you coming on my podcast. It's not every day you get a 5-time Ironman champion on your podcast, so I super appreciate it.
I'm not a champion,
I'm
but
grateful
I'll
that we
get there.
connected too.
Hey, man.
Yes, you will. I believe it. There's something else I wanted to say thank you for. When I first started this podcast, when we first met, it was a while ago, and I was just trying to figure out how to do podcasting. I remember I shared a podcast with you, and you gave me some feedback because one of my buddies was smoking weed in it, and he cussed or something, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to delete all this because he doesn't want me to say it yet. But
I appreciate the info.
that's kind of the stuff I want to this podcast to do. I want it to make an impact, and I want it to be a positive one. So I'm going to try to get a lot of local politicians on. Like after I have him on, I'll try to get his opponent and see, let's talk about your view and see what that happens,
Dude, that is so cool, Chris.
Yeah, man.
I'm so proud of you. I know that you've been working hard on these podcasts, and what inspired me to want to do this podcast with my buddy, which, by the way, that kind of fell through because he's also in the government, and things have just fallen off the wagon. So I don't know if we'll ever get back to getting that going, because he's going through the same stuff, and he has to report weekly to Elon, and just like every single federal government employee, every single week you got to send an email what you did Monday through Friday, and you have to justify it.
That is crazy.
That's a little too tight, and that's why I'm saying
I got to interview for my job every week to keep my job.
Yeah, you got exactly. Hey, I did X, Y, and Z on Monday. X, Y, and Z through the whole week, every single week, and he's saying, there's going to be a time that they're going to go back and review, and the people that didn't submit might get the slash or might get reprimanded or whatever. So people are not robots, man. Like you cannot put that mental strain on human beings. Like you're already straining them out Monday through Friday, making them work the 80 hours or whatever, 40 hours, but they're putting in more hours. Yeah, you got spoiled apples out there that, I got a government job, I'm just going to sit here and not do anything. You can't help that. It is what it is. Some people work more, some people work quality versus quantity. I don't know. Anyways, I just wanted to throw that in there because I think this whole thing that you're doing, readjusting your podcast to having those series, it's great because you want to cover everybody. I mean, your buddy, I love that podcast, by the way. It was funny. He was real, and I connected there because I also have smoked, and it's just like, dude, I know exactly what he's talking about. I know how he's feeling but I know that you're trying to have a very professional set. So that's why
it was eye-opening for me because I was like, you know what, that is right. Like that is a part of my personality that I do want to put out there, but I don't want that necessarily mixed up with professional. If I get the mayor in here, like I don't want to be smoking a blunt and talking shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, absolutely, man. Absolutely.
So I'm truly grateful for. I got a few different people that I respect that have given me feedback like that and have kind of contributed to the podcast being what it is today. I mean, it's not huge, but it is making an impact. I do know that. So I super appreciate you being on, and I would love to have you on again. We could we could pick different topics. And if you're ever ready to start your podcast and you want help, I got you.
Thank you, Chris.
Of course,
I'd love to come back whenever you want me on here, man. This is great. Especially now that you've got the mayor coming on. That's big deal, man. That's very impressive. I'm very proud of that for you.
Well, thank you.
And, I'm here in Apex. So if they're going to do this thing, I'm happy to help. And then my only mental check or advice that I would have for men's health at this time is try to be easy on yourself. I think us as being males, we are kind of programmed to be the dominant species wherever we go. But at times you can still be dominant, but you have to be generous and nice and kind to folks and not try to be the bully. I'm going to show my big guns and muscles just because I'm a male, because that also internally you're putting yourself in this other mode of I have to be the aggressor. I have to be this. And people see that energy and don't want to be around that type of energy. So they kind of push you away or they don't engage and you lose opportunities in whatever you're doing. So try to realize and recognize as men, people view you one way and you have to kind of be easy with life and yourself. So again, these are all my personal thoughts and perspectives.
I think that and that wraps up another episode of Almost Above Average with Chris McIntyre. We hope you enjoyed the conversation with Juan Romero, the 5-time Ironman champion, as much as we did. His journey from addiction to becoming a 5-time Ironman champion is so powerful. And what a reminder of the strength of human spirit and the importance of community and purpose. If you found value in today's episode, please share it with your friends and family and consider leaving us a 5-star review. Your support helps us reach more listeners and continue these meaningful conversations. Don't forget to check out our previous episodes where we explore more incredible stories and insights from our guests. Until next time, stay motivated, stay connected, and stay almost above average.
just as well. I've said goodbye too many times inside my head. I'm dreaming of peace and I can't wait to see what happens next. But I'm sorry to leave, but just know that I love you. You don't have to worry no more. You don't have to worry no more. Forget everything I ever did. I didn't mean to be a bother. Or maybe I'm just wrong again. It doesn't really matter no more. It's almost the end, about time for me to go home. You don't have to worry no more. You don't have to worry no more. You don't have to worry no more. Forget everything I ever said, except farewell. I hope my memory fades and no one ever says my name again.